Country homes in France can still be found starting at around $50,000. I've selected 8 real listings with prices accurate at the time of this roundup, ranging up to just over $100,000. We're going from the lowest price point upward to see how the value changes and what each step in budget actually adds. Some of these properties need work, others are ready to move into, and I'll make that clear as we go. We'll focus on the essentials: land, condition, location, and how practical each home is to live in. They're spread across different parts of rural France, so the setting and lifestyle vary quite a bit. By the end, a couple of these options stand out more than expected. Let's get into it. We open in the Charente, in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine, the broad, gentle department in southwestern France, where the cognac country meets the limestone countryside, and the pace of life slows to something that most people only experience on holiday. Rouzède is a small commune in this landscape, quiet and green, far enough from the tourist circuits that prices still reflect the reality of rural France, rather than the fantasy version of it. And the opening price is $46,300, 39,500 euros, which is a number that genuinely needs a second to land. For a beautiful French farmhouse, on a plot of 6,000 square meters, about 64,583 square feet, or roughly 1.5 acres, divided into 3 distinct homes. 3. The main home, called the Albatros, spreads over 80 square meters, about 861 square feet. A 100-meter tree-lined driveway leads to the entrance. Inside, a spacious hall opening to a living room with raised ceilings and exposed oak beams, a kitchen with luxury, built-in appliances, and a terrace accessible via sliding doors. The listing describes a meticulously renovated expanse balancing modern amenities with traditional architectural elements. Now, the listing describes 3 distinct homes and 80 square meters for the main dwelling, but is lighter on detail for the other 2 units. So verify the full condition and specification of all 3 parts before committing. But at $46,300 for a renovated stone farmhouse with a tree-lined driveway on 1.5 acres of Charente countryside, described as offering rental opportunities, that opening price is almost uncomfortable to say out loud. And the best part is, you're in the Charente, cognac country, Atlantic coast within reach, Bordeaux a couple of hours south, and a rural lifestyle that hasn't been packaged and sold back at inflated prices yet. Prices are as selected at the time, and always check documents and fees. The next property shifts to Burgundy, adds a fireplace, 2 bedrooms, a garage, and a Morvan National Park address for $64,400. $64,400, 55,000 euros. And we're in Burgundy now, specifically the Morvan Natural Park in the Saône-et-Loire department, one of the most beautifully preserved forested landscapes in central France. The Morvan is granite hills, oak forests, lakes, and a handful of small stone villages where the population is genuinely local rather than tourist, a park that the French treat as a serious nature destination rather than a backdrop. Chissy-en-Morvan sits in this landscape, and the typical country house here is a 96 square meter property, about 1,033 square feet on 2 levels, with an additional 135 square meters at the rear on the ground floor. Ground floor, a 29 square meter living room, about 312 square feet, with a fireplace and staircase, a 14 square meter dining area, a kitchen, shower room, and WC. First floor, a landing leading to 2 bedrooms of 17 and 19 square meters, about 183 and 205 square feet respectively. Attached garage with boiler room, oil-fired central heating. According to the listing, this is ideal as a pied-à-terre, a French base, move-in ready as described, with a fireplace and a Morvan Park address. The listing doesn't flag specific renovation needs, so the framing is habitable and functional. And the best part is, a 2-bedroom country house with a fireplace, a garage, and an attached boiler room in the heart of a national park in Burgundy for $64,400 is the kind of property that people who've been looking at French rural real estate for years describe as a find, new leader on value. But the next one goes to the northeast, and the format changes entirely. because this is a property that already functions as two homes. Quick France note, the country has the most extensive national rail network in Western Europe, and the TGV connects Paris to virtually every major city in under 2 hours. Owning a rural property in France doesn't mean giving up access to everything. It means choosing how often you want it. $75,600, 64,500 euros. A French farmhouse in Arbor, in the Haute-Marne department, in the heart of the National Park of Forests, the newest national park in France, created in 2021, protecting some of the most extensive ancient oak and hornbeam forests in the country. This is the Northeast, where the landscape is quieter, the winters are proper, and the properties are priced for what they actually are rather than for what they're adjacent to. The farmhouse is 178 square meters, about 1,916 square feet, and it consists of two entirely distinct parts. The occupied part, a kitchen with wood stove, a living room, a bathroom, WC, and upstairs 2 bedrooms plus a convertible attic. The free part, currently operating as a gîte with an independent entrance. A fitted and equipped kitchen, a dining room and living room with a fireplace, and 2 bedrooms each with their own bathroom and toilet. 2 independent living units, one already operating as a rental accommodation on a 178 square meter farmhouse in a national park for $75,600. The listing describes the gîte as currently operated, which according to the listing means it has been in active use. Verify the full condition and what currently operated means for handover before committing, but the scale here and the dual income potential is genuinely unusual at this price. And the best part is, the National Park of Forests is one of the last places in France where you can own a functioning farmhouse with rental infrastructure at a price that still belongs to a different decade. The next one goes to Brittany's interior, and it's an honest listing. The roof needs attention, the rewiring needs doing, and the price reflects it exactly. $81,100, 69,200 euros. A classic stone and slate house in the hamlet of Le Queffret, in the Finistère department of inland Brittany, and this is the listing where I need to be genuinely straight with you, because the listing is straight with us. The property is 70 square meters, about 753 square feet, on a garden plot of 1,093 square meters, about 11,764 square feet. Ground floor, entrance hallway with tiled flooring, a lounge with staircase, a kitchen and dining area with a fireplace and a wood burner. First floor, landing with wood flooring, 2 bedrooms with wood flooring and sloping ceilings, a tiled bathroom. The rear roof has been replaced. The septic tank is listed as conforming. Now, the listing is specific about what needs doing. The front roof has some slip tiles, and the chimney is leaking into a bedroom wall. Rewiring is needed, and a heating system needs to be installed. These are real items, and the listing names them clearly, which is exactly what you want from a vendor. No hidden surprises, just an honest inventory of what's required. The property is described as not overlooked by other homes, which means privacy. And the best part is a stone and slate Breton house with 2 bedrooms, a wood burner, a conforming septic tank, and a rear roof already done, with 3 specific known tasks rather than an unknown renovation abyss. For $81,100 in inland Brittany is the honest version of a French country property deal. Go in clear about the work, budget for it, and you have a private stone house in one of France's most character-rich regions at a price that reflects exactly what's needed. The next one shifts to a completely different proposition. South-facing, 2-bedroom, vaulted cellar, annex, and a garden of 1,300 square meters. For $300 more, $81,400, 69,500 euros. A lovely stone cottage, south-facing, and the detail on this listing is the reward for making it this far. Ground floor, a living room of approximately 21 square meters, about 226 square feet, with a wood-burning stove and a fitted kitchen of approximately 8 square meters, about 86 square feet. First floor, a bedroom, and an adjoining shower room and WC of approximately 21 square meters combined, about 226 square feet. plus a small attic above. Below the whole house, a vaulted cellar. And then, attached to the main house, on one level, an annex with a second bedroom of approximately 13.5 square meters, about 145 square feet, a shower room with toilet of approximately 3.5 square meters, and a hallway of approximately 14 square meters, about 151 square feet, with a laundry area, plus a garden of approximately 1,300 square meters, about 13,993 square feet. South facing, 2 bedrooms across the main house and the annex, a vaulted cellar under the whole house, a wood-burning stove, a laundry area in the annex hallway. The listing doesn't specify the precise location beyond France, so curator phrasing applies. Check the exact apartment, verify the full condition, and confirm what services are connected. But the layout intelligence here, annex with laundry, vaulted cellar, separate sleeping spaces, is the kind of thinking that makes a small property genuinely livable. And the best part is, a south-facing stone cottage with a vaulted cellar, a 2-bedroom annex configuration, and a 14,000 square foot garden for $81,400 is a functional, practical French country home that earns every aspect of that description. The next one goes to Brittany proper and adds a 3rd bedroom, a south-facing terrace, and apple trees. $87,900. 75,000 euros. A picturesque stone house in Brittany. A comfortable 3-bedroom detached house with a driveway and a garden. Brittany is the Atlantic peninsula of northwestern France. Celtic culture, granite coastline, seafood markets, a climate that's mild by northern standards, and dramatic in all the right ways. The stone architecture here is different from the rest of France. Harder, darker, lower to the ground, built to last against Atlantic weather rather than for aesthetic effect. The house delivers main entrance to a hall with a WC and French doors to the fitted kitchen and dining room. French doors opening onto a south-facing terrace. And in Brittany, a south-facing terrace is the most valuable outdoor feature a property can have. To the left, a comfortable living room with a wood-burning stove and the staircase. From the hall, a large master bedroom, 2 smaller bedrooms, a large bathroom, and a separate WC. Outside, a garden with mature and productive apple trees, 3 bedrooms, a south-facing terrace, a wood-burning stove, apple trees, driveway, and garden. According to the listing, this is a comfortable, well-described house. No major renovation flags raised. And the best part is, a 3-bedroom Breton stone house with a south-facing terrace, a wood-burning stove, productive apple trees in the garden, and a driveway for $87,900 is the most complete domestic package we've seen on this list so far. New leader on livability. If you want more finds like this, subscribe, because the next French region we're covering has properties starting even lower, and the character is just as strong. The next property, though, adds nearly 6,000 square meters of land, a well, and a 40 square meter garage, and pushes just past the $100,000 mark. $100,200. 85,500 euros. A rustic stone house in Rouzède, in the Berry region of central France. The broad, quiet agricultural plateau that sits between the Loire and the Massif Central. Genuinely rural, genuinely underpriced, and genuinely one of the best kept secrets in the French property market. Rouzède is a small commune in the Indre department, calm and connected enough by road to function as a real base. The house, a kitchen, a living room of 27 square meters, about 291 square feet, with an open fireplace, 3 bedrooms of 14 square meters each, about 151 square feet, a bathroom, a toilet with washing machine, and a boiler room with access to an attic described in the listing as allowing you to consider extensions according to your needs. Outside, a plot of land of 5,759 square meters, about 61,990 square feet, or roughly 1.4 acres, ideal for a garden, leisure, or animal projects, according to the listing. An adjoining garage of 40 square meters being about 431 square feet. A garden shelter. A well. And the listing notes the possibility to acquire an additional 2,600 square meters of adjoining land. Nearly 1.4 acres. A well. A 40 square meter garage, 3 bedrooms, an open fireplace, an extendable attic, and the option to add more land for $100,200 in the berry. The listing doesn't specify the current energy rating or full renovation status, so verify the complete condition before committing. But the land argument here, combined with the well in the garage, is the strongest on this list for buyers who want rural France with actual room to breathe. And the best part is, 1.4 acres with a well and a garage at the point where this list crosses the $100,000 mark is the kind of closing value that makes the whole ladder make sense. One more. And the final property closes this list with something that none of the others have offered. A train station, 500 meters away. $105,500, 90,000 euros? A charming village house in Centre-Val de Loire on a 1,688 square meter lot, about 18,169 square feet, with mature trees facing due south, overlooking the Cher Valley, 500 meters from the train station and 5 minutes from the highway. Let that combination sit for a moment. South-facing, Cher Valley views, 500 meters from a train station, 5 minutes from a motorway, with 2 garages and a 1,688 square meter wooded plot. It's a mix that works on both sides. The setting gives you space and quiet, while the proximity keeps everything within reach without complication. The house dates from the 1930s and has 3 levels of approximately 60 square meters each, about 646 square feet per level. Ground floor, a veranda entrance, kitchen, a south-facing living room with a fireplace and 2 windows and a glazed door, 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, 1 separate toilet. The layout is direct and usable, with the main living areas oriented toward light and view, and a distribution that doesn't require rethinking to function day to day. Basement and cellar, 60 square meters, about 646 square feet, with a cellar, shower room, and boiler room. This level quietly adds utility, giving you space that supports the rest of the house without taking away from it, whether for storage, maintenance, or practical use. Upper floor, partially converted with 2 bedrooms and attic storage. The upper level extends the living capacity, while still leaving room to refine or adapt, depending on how you want to use it over time. 2 additional small buildings from the 1970s on the plot. These structures don't demand attention, but they expand options: storage, workshop use, or simply holding space for later ideas. Central oil heating works fine according to the listing. Mains gas available in the street. The listing is honest. The house needs refreshing, but describes it as immediately habitable and in good overall condition with a fine roof, without insulation, which is noted. The listing also states that mains drainage is now available in the street, replacing the existing septic tank when connected. That availability is a straightforward upgrade path, one that simplifies long-term use without adding complexity up front. The refreshing needed and the roof insulation are the items to factor into your budget. They're visible, defined, and manageable. Not open-ended unknowns, but clear next steps that can be planned in phases. And the best part is, an immediately habitable 1930s French village house, facing due south over the Cher Valley, with 2 garages, a 1,688 square meter wooded plot, 2 extra outbuildings, and a train station, 5 minutes on foot, for $105,500, is the property that closes this list with the most practical, connected argument of all 8. It's a property that doesn't rely on one standout feature, but instead builds its case through balance, access, space, orientation, and usability all working together. Always check documents and fees before committing. 8 properties, 1 country. Here's the honest breakdown. Most extraordinary opening price with the most scale. Property 1, Rouzède, 3 homes, tree-lined driveway, 1.5 acres, $46,300. Verify the full 3-unit condition. Best value in a national park with a fireplace and a garage. Property 2, Morvan, Burgundy, 96 square meters, 2 bedrooms, central heating, $64,400. Best dual-use farmhouse with rental history. Property 3, Haute-Marne Forest, 178 square meters, 2 independent units, gîte already operating, $75,600. Most land with a well and a garage past the $100,000 mark. Property 7, Ursiers, Berry, 1.4 acres, 40 square meter garage, 3 bedrooms. Well, option to buy more land. Most connected, south-facing village house with train access. Property 8, Centre Val de Loire, Cher Valley Views, 2 garages, wooded plot, 500 meters to the station. And for the most livable, complete, no big items, south-facing detached house with a terrace and apple trees. Property 6, Brittany, 3 bedrooms, wood burner, south terrace, productive garden, $87,900. Each property holds a different kind of appeal, and that contrast is what gives the list its value. Some emphasize land, others structure, others location. And the decision usually comes down to which of those matters most to you in practice, not just in theory. Comment below. Which one would you actually choose? And what would you do with the land? Subscribe if you want the next French region, because what's coming has properties that start even lower and the characters just as strong. See you there. And if you're still on the fence, take a second look at what's really on offer here. This isn't just about price points. It's about flexibility, about how each property can adapt to a different kind of life. Some lean toward immediate use, others reward a bit of vision, but all of them offer a level of space and setting that's getting harder to find at these numbers. Think about the rhythm of each place, the access, the land, the layout, and how that lines up with what you actually want day to day. Whether it's a base, an income play, or a longer-term move, the right fit usually stands out once you picture yourself there, and that's really the underlying thread across all 8. Not just what they are on paper, but how easily they translate into something usable, something personal, something that fits without forcing it.